California Republican Congressman Darrell Issa joins us now. He's a member of the House Judiciary and Foreign Affairs Committees. First, on the trucker protest, Congressman, they seem pretty jolly. It seems pretty peaceful, but they're affecting commerce. What do you say to the Canadian truckers who are, continuing this protest over COVID vaccine mandates in Canada?
Well, I think Thomas Jefferson would be proud. He said that when the government fears the people, you have liberty, and when the people fear the government, you have tyranny. And that's exactly what you're seeing in Canada and in the U.S., this balance between what is no longer a mandate that makes any sense. We're now talking about a therapeutic vaccine. These passport questions go the same way. These people are saying, rightfully so, like America is all over, including in Virginia, where Governor Youngkin is hearing that and responding. They're saying that it's time for the people to get their liberty back. And it's refreshing that Canada is joining a tradition of the United States.
But if memory serves, you built a business that was related to the automotive industry. If you were waiting on a shipment of goods, wouldn't you be steamed right now if you were still running that business?
I'd be steamed at a government that no longer has any legitimacy behind this vaccine mandate. Canada has even higher levels of vaccination than the U.S., but this new variant could care less. And in fact, people who have been vaccinated 3 times are still getting it, but it's also mild. That means that even if you believe the best case science, all you're really talking about is something that will make it a little more mild. But for the most part, people are recovering or asymptomatic, even if they haven't been vaccinated. So when you no longer have a reason for government to do something, it's time for government to stop. Of course, as a businessman, I want my goods. But you know what? The Port of Long Beach doesn't have a protest, but it has 150 ships backed up. So the supply chain problem didn't start at the Canadian border. If anything, it started at the California border.
Fair point. Let's turn our attention to Russia and the Ukraine. President Biden, spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin for more than an hour today. Are you reassured by that communication?
I'd be reassured if it was 5 minutes. An hour is time to talk and negotiate. 5 minutes is a time to make it clear to Putin that we stand resolute behind the Ukrainian people. So, no, I'm not at all. As a matter of fact, the only clarity we've had in this whole thing is that American citizens are on their own in a potential war zone. Other than that, there's not much clarity, and Putin he's making his decision based on our inaction, rather than his decision based on our threat of real action.
But at the same time, most of the nations in Europe don't seem to be as concerned about the situation there as we are. Do you agree?
Well, Neville Chamberlain didn't think much of anything except negotiating with Hitler, but we didn't get peace in our time. You do not get peace by appeasing a tyrant. Putin already took Crimea. Now he is destined to take Ukraine, either literally or figuratively, depending upon whether he invades or we simply capitulate and give him greater authority. For years, Poland was theoretically an independent country, but people knew it wasn't. Czechoslovakia was independent until they showed their independence, and then the tanks rolled in. The reemergence of the old Soviet Union is a threat to the very reason NATO was formed. And the fact that the Europeans, as the late Margaret Thatcher would say, are going wobbly is mostly because they rely on Russia for energy, and that's our fault. We were the energy source that could have freed them up and could have led the world to free them up. Instead, we went the other way, approving Nord Stream and fairness, shutting down our ability to be an exporter.
Joe Biden got elected in part because he promised that he would be a steady hand on the world stage. He had spent decades on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. How do you assess his handling of the multiple crises around the world right now?
Well, he is well educated but wrong, and that seems to be the problem. He appointed John Kerry to go around the world, and that was a good sign that he really didn't get the fact that the world has changed. We're back to a time, quite frankly, much more suited to a Ronald Reagan than a Jimmy Carter. And he's running this very much like a Jimmy Carter. The reason that Iran fell was that Jimmy Carter wasn't strong. The reason that Afghanistan fell the way it did is because this president wasn't strong. And what happened to the American citizens in Afghanistan will undoubtedly happen to American citizens in Ukraine if the Russians come over the border. And that's just another example of an absence of peace through strength. Ronald Reagan famously said that before he talked about peace through strength, he told the story of 4 wars in his lifetime, and all 4 wars were not caused by being too strong, but were caused by a presence of weakness.
Congressman Darrell Issa, Republican of California. It's good to have you on. Thank you.